How did you pull this off? This was a tough guy, and boy, did he hang in there, and he took tremendous punishment and kept coming back.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to outpower him because my first time coming up to 200. So I knew I had to use the gifts that God gave me. Speed, power, movement, punch selection, and IQ. That's exactly what I did.
Got going around. He's on his way now to a small bit. I just want to get
God damn, I'm gonna get fucked up, baby. The best fights I've ever seen in my life. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm getting loaded.
What are your thoughts on the fight?
They call him the Mexican monster for a reason.
That was crazy. Were you expecting that?
I was expecting Zurdo to be able to go to 12 because Zurdo has never been stopped before. Or not that I remember him. I think he's been stopped before. But he's tough, But I mean, David's much stronger cruiserweight than he was at 175 and 168. Like much stronger. You can see in his speed, he's not killing himself. You can tell.
Were you impressed that Ramirez came back after the 4th round when it looked like it was over?
Hey, motherfucking weak. Honestly, I mean, he's a warrior, bro. I mean, dude, the year coming where he got hurt. He kept trying.
I'm just very happy with this, and I just want to keep fighting against the best in the world and keep cementing my greatness. Everybody doubts me over and over and over and over again, but that's what I like. I like when people doubt me because then I get to come in here and show you guys what I'm really made of. So I just want to tell you thank you so much. I love every single one of you, and this is a blessing just to be here with you guys. So thank you so much. I feel that I'm really starting to come into my own. Everything I speak, I do. You know what I mean? I said I was going to beat David Morrell. I said I was going to beat Caleb Plant. I said I was going to beat Yard. I said I was going to beat Zurdo Ramirez. So I'm just getting, a lot of confidence in myself. And back then, I thought it was a dream that I could become a great. And now I know for sure that this is my destiny. And I'm just very, very happy that I'm able to have this type of performance in Cinco de Mayo in the United States. My last fight was in Saudi Arabia. Had a great performance out there too. And it's just, just a blessing to be able to follow it up with this type of performance in the United States on Cinco de Mayo.
Watching a former world champion who once looked completely unstoppable being taken out of the T-Mobile Arena on a stretcher was a shocking scene for Gilberto Zurdo. Ramirez, the flashing lights, the silent crowd, and the serious situation created a disturbing picture. But the real question is whether the fight was actually lost that night or already decided long before it began inside training camps and during fight week. A mental collapse had already taken place.
Ladies and gentlemen, big 6th round KO from David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. Cinco de Mayo weekend, definitely a great fight, but wow. David Benavidez knocks down Zurdo Ramirez in the 4th round, and then continuously, throwing crazy combinations. I mean, I'm talking about 6-piece combinations, real close range. Zurdo Ramirez came into the fight strong, came in there with his front foot. He came in there pressing the action, but David Benavidez's speed combinations was just way too much. Shout out to Zurdo Ramirez. Hell of a chin on him, man. I mean, I'm telling you, he took so many big shots. David Benavidez ended up closing his eye, and he really just couldn't take any more. But big shout outs to, Hyman Munguia as well, beating Resendiz for the WBA title. And now you have David Benavidez, a 3-division champion. I mean, what's next? We seen Canelo Alvarez in the building for Hyman Munguia, but was nowhere to be found on the main event. David Benavidez called him out, let everybody know, listening to fans, do you want this fight? He's calling out Monstro. The fans are calling out Monstro. It was definitely a great performance.
Days before stepping into the ring with one of the most feared fighters in the sport, a surprising confession came out. During media interviews, fighters usually show full confidence and strong belief. But Ramirez shocked many when he said he might only have 1 or 2 fights left in his career.
And I know that you mentioned you are thinking of only fighting 2 more times. With that being said, what is your really dream matchup in the sport of boxing before you retire?
I don't know. Let's find out. But I have this Saturday this coming fight Saturday, and then who knows?
Yeah. And lastly, what can fans expect Saturday night, and what do you really want your legacy to be when it's all said and done one day?
They have to expect a war. It will be a war this fight, and I will raise my hand with my belt for the winner.
What about the legacy?
My legacy, I already have legacy, and probably I will do more.
Completely. Well, thank you so much.
Talking about retirement before a major fight is almost like losing mentally before it even starts. You do not enter a war thinking about life after it. That mindset removes the sharp focus needed at the highest level. And in this case, it looked like Ramirez was already thinking about leaving boxing while still preparing for battle.
And it was the way that David Benavidez beat Gilberto Ramirez tonight. You know, Terrence versus Canelo, that was his own masterclass. Shakur versus Tio, you know, Inoue beat Nakatani, Usyk and Fury, all really good performances, don't get me wrong, but that's what the fuck I'm talking about. What David Benavidez just did to Gilberto Ramirez. I said in the breakdown after the weigh-in that yesterday, expect some James Toney-like stuff from David Benavidez. I didn't think he'd dispatch of him in 6 rounds. This was his best performance yet. I think the pacing he had in this fight was brilliant. Knowing he was up in weight, he didn't throw too many punches too early, and he relied on his defense a lot. Did some good James Toney-like defense, paced himself, found his jab, and then the hand speed ringside was absolutely insane. I mean, he's one of the fastest fighters in boxing of any weight class, but to have hand speed like that at 200 pounds, the dexterity on the punches, he hurts Zurdo by switching southpaw in the 4th round, hits him with a straight left hand, then follows it up with ridiculous combinations. I mean, electrifying stuff, you know, like Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya type fucking combinations. And eventually drops him with the right hand, hitting him with every punch in the book. The left hook in the inside was money, and just puts together some beautiful offense. He is one of the most offensively prolific fighters in the game.
The difference between both fighters was very clear. His opponent was fully locked in and training with aggression, while Ramirez seemed focused on life outside the ring, imagining a calm future away from hard training and punishment. And this small change in mindset can turn even a top fighter into an easy target.
And the fans like what they came to see. So, you know, there was a lot of talk this week about, is he really a real Mexican and all that stuff. Look, Julio Cesar Chavez was on the fence about it when I asked him back in Thursday after the press conference. I don't think he's on the fence now. He hugged David Benavidez in the ring right after the fight. So this kid has a chance. This man has a chance to be the best Mexican-American fighter since Oscar De La Hoya. He's that good. He has that kind of scintillating hand speed like Oscar had in combination punching. But Zurdo, he tried to give, and I said before the fight, Zurdo was accepting his role as a supporting actor, and that's exactly what he did in this fight. He tried to give David his own medicine in rounds 2 and 3 and had some success doing it. He gave David some of his own medicine. He pressured him, he pressed him as the bigger man, tried to take away some of his range, but unfortunately for him, David Benavidez is an excellent inside fighter. And whenever he wanted to, he would pick his spots with combinations. The short left hook couldn't miss. There was times, even on the inside, he would find the dexterity to hit him with a power jab. So, and people always talk about David squaring his feet up, but he makes it work for him in a way that's very creative and dynamic. And that's why he even went as far as switching southpaw a couple times. So then into the 6th round, Benavidez, after dropping him in the 4th, went back to pacing himself. I think this was the best he ever paced himself in a fight, better than David Morrell or Caleb Plant or any of those fights. And part of it was he had a much more stationary target in front of him. Guys like Vosdick, guys like Morrell, Yard, Plant, even Andrade, who he knocked out in the same amount of rounds. These guys all...
When the fight started, the result was fast and brutal. His opponent did not just fight to win. He came to break him down to speed, was overwhelming. The pressure never stopped, and the punches kept coming for 6 rounds. It did not feel like a real contest, but more like a complete breakdown. Every shot seemed to drain more energy from Ramirez, and it was not just power, but constant pressure, smart movement, and trapping him on the ropes with heavy combinations. There was no escape, no adjustment, and no answer. And as the fight see,
I'm just very happy with this I worked my ass off for this camp. I trained 5 months in training camp for this because I knew Zurdo Ramirez was a warrior, and I knew that he was not going to let go of his titles willingly. So, you know, I knew the risks. I knew what I was capable of. I went up there, I told everybody that I wanted to stop Zurdo Ramirez, and that's exactly what I did. And here I am, and I'm just very happy with this, and I just want to keep fighting against the best in the world and keep cementing my greatness. You know, everybody doubts me over and over and over and over again, but that's what I like. You know, I like when people doubt me because then I get to come in here and show you guys what I'm really made of. So I just want to tell you thank you so much. I love every single one of you, and this is a blessing just to be here with you guys. So thank you so much.
As soon as the referee stopped the fight, chaos broke out. Medical staff rushed into the ring, and the usual celebration disappeared. The crowd went silent as doctors worked quickly. In the moment, he was placed on a stretcher and taken to the hospital, changed the entire atmosphere. This was no longer about winning, but about a serious health situation.
The gifts are contained. Steam, power movement, pulse direction, and IQ. That's exactly what I did. Got go around. I just want to
Start moving back, moving back.
Fans watched in silence because losing a title is one thing, but seeing a fighter physically break down under pressure from a younger, stronger opponent is something far more disturbing and hard to accept.
Benavidez. David Benavidez is fucking special. David Benavidez is everything you want in a fighter. You talking speed, aggression, defense. And think about his defense, right? He's not moving around the ring. He stands right there in front of you. And he's willing to take a shot. He's gonna block some shot, but he's willing to take a shot. And he's gonna shoot his load every time. Combinations, power, just utter savagery. Oh my God, this guy is so special. Such a beautiful fighter to watch. It's like watching Picasso. The ring is this man's canvas. What he just did to Zurdo Ramirez was special. But if you watch Zurdo throughout his career, you knew what was going to happen. Like, if you really watched the two fighters, you knew what was going to happen. I never rated Zurdo that high. Respectable fighter. But I never thought he was that good. Resume was a little inflated. You look at his resume, like, as far as top guys or names, like, who did he really fight? What does he really bring to the table? When you watch Benavidez, you know, you see it. You see who he fought. You see what he does to fighters. I say that to say, if you watch these two, you knew what the outcome was. And it proved to be true. David fucking Benavidez. Take a bow, young man. Take a bow. God.
Many hardcore boxing fans actually saw this coming before the Fight Online discussions pointed to his interview as a warning sign. People said that any fighter talking about retirement before a fight is already mentally defeated, and some even predicted a one-sided beating, proving that fans understood his mindset better than many inside his camp.
Beautiful. It was, look, I mean, that's the way I called it, is the buzzsaw of Benavidez, punches and bunches. And the only shot that Zurdo had was kind of, throw a punch right in the center. So obviously the speed was too much. Benavidez was too much. The monster's here for a long time, so very proud of him. But the whole night from top to bottom was excellent. Probably one of the best cards we've ever put.
Absolutely. What do you think is next for Benavidez? What would you like to see? I thought we couldn't hear back here, but maybe he was talking about B-ball. Is that something that looks like is coming up next?
He's got many options. He's got many options. So I think right now he is the man at that weight class. So whoever's going to fight him has to wait in line, because there's several fighters like B-ball, like all the top guys. So including just all the world champions. But Benavidez right now is the man.
While one career collapsed, another rose to greatness. His opponent left the ring with titles and became one of the most dangerous names in the sport. He did not just win, he dominated and showed a clear gap between them, making the fight look one-sided and highlighting that this was not a fair matchup, but a harsh mismatch.
Yesterday, last time I checked, whoever has these dates is the motherfucking man. And that this was his audition to prove that he's actually the man. And I think he's actually the motherfucking man now. That kind of performance is going to be put on highlight reels for the mainstream sports fans, for casual fans. Fights like Inoue Nakatani and Shakur Tiafimo and other fights, they were excellent. I mean, those excellent performances, but it's not the kind of thing that's going to capture the imagination of the mainstream public. And what Benavidez did there will. And the crowd was actually smaller than it was for the David Morrell fight, which surprised me, but I don't think that'll be the case moving forward. So yeah, man, I think that was one of the best performed. Crawford Spence and this fight, even believe it or not, like Broner DeMarco back in Atlantic City when I covered that fight 14 years ago was sensational. I'm leaving out a number of brilliant performances, but just off the top of my head, those are some of the ones that come to mind immediately in fights I've attended. Again, Zurdo's not the best cruiserweight in the world. Jairo Pataya is. Jairo Pataya is the toughest fight out there for David Benavidez. But I think it's smart for him to go back to light heavyweight right now. For a Jairo Pataya fight, he would have to grow into the weight class a little bit, because Zurdo was clearly the bigger man. But I think that Benavidez is the better fighter than Jairo Pataya pound for pound.
Fighting without strong mental fire is one of the biggest risks in boxing. When the mind gives up before the body, the outcome becomes certain. The stretcher, the hospital visit, and the end of a championship run serve as a warning. This is not just about losing a fight, but about the physical and mental cost of boxing. You cannot treat this sport lightly. And once doubt enters a fighter's mind, the sport answers in the harshest way possible.